Welcome back. You're still watching Good Morning Namibia. Now, YouthConnekt Africa is a continental initiative aimed at accelerating the implementation of Agenda 2063 by connecting the African youth for socioeconomic transformation, Now, it has been adopted and implemented by 33 Africa member states. Aligned with the AU theme for the year 2024, YouthConnekt Africa Summit theme is Jobs for Youth through Innovative Skilling, and it's basically aimed at exploring opportunities for continued investment in preparing young people for success in the market by defining future-ready skills and addressing how skilling can be scaled across the continent. Now, joining us to reflect on the just concluded summit that took place in Rwanda is Nicolars Tembwe, who is the Director for Youth Development in the Ministry of Sports, Youth and National Services. Mr. Tembwe, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for making time to talk to us.
Thank you.
All right. As I mentioned earlier on, the summit just concluded. Can you just talk to us about the entire summit, the YouthConnekt Africa Summit? What is it all about, and also how does it contribute to the overall agenda of youth development in Africa?
Thank you very much. YouthConnekt Africa is actually a Pan-African platform that actually brings together youth from across Africa and policymakers, including political leaders and the youth in the leadership space, and all the other institutions in the private sector and development partners, particularly the UN ecosystem in terms of technical support for development of youth programs. Now, this platform actually is aimed at contributing to youth development by fostering, collaboration and sharing best experiences amongst the countries and opening up opportunities for collaboration between public entities and the private sector in the process to try and transform the African economies and make them more responsive to opportunities that will fast track or accelerate socioeconomic transformation in order to create the much needed jobs for young people.
All right. What would you say are some of your key takeaways from the entire summit?
Thank you. The 2024 Youth Summit has deliberated and discussed a number of key interventions that African countries can consider in terms of creating job opportunities for young people, the importance of digital skilling, and the need for education to employment pathways are some of the prominent recommendations that came out of the deliberations at the summit. Using the promotion of entrepreneurship and skills development, and in order to unlock the potential of young people, is also one of the key recommendations that came out during the discussions between youth leaders, policymakers, and leaders of the ministries of sport, Ministry of Youth in various countries, the UN family, and also prominent private sector institutions that were represented at the summit. There is also one of the aspects that came out is to strengthen, collaboration between private entities and the private sector in order to fast track the employment creation of the youth.
All right. So how important would you say cross-sector collaboration is, especially when it comes to addressing youth unemployment?
Thank you. Cross-sector collaboration in this case is vital in addressing youth unemployment, as we know that in doing so, it brings together a diverse expertise of skills and also resources by allowing collaboration between governments, private sector entities, and educational institutions, including civil society organizations. Comprehensive and sustainable solutions, will be found, and it will be easier to coordinate and support youth entrepreneurship, and also to identify key sectors in terms of opening up opportunities for young people.
All right. What innovative skills and approaches have you seen that effectively prepare young people for the job market?
Thank you very much. Throughout the deliberations in the summit and the discussions and side events that were hosted by a number of countries in which Namibia also participated, what came out prominently is that innovative approaches which include integration of digital literacy in the curricula at skills training and education, and the promotion of technical vocational education and training that is aligned with the industry, entrepreneurship and mentorship of young people. As we know that jobs are scarce, the summit agrees and that by combining efforts in terms of upscaling digital literacy and technical vocational education and training and the promotion of entrepreneurship, these programs combined with technical skills, soft skills such as critical thinking and communication are very effective, will be very effective in preparing our youth for the evolving job market.
All right. Mr. Tembwe, in what ways do you believe technology can enhance skill development and employment opportunities, especially for the youth in Africa?
Thank you very much. Technology is what drives the world currently. Technology can enhance skills development by providing access to young people to online learning platforms, for example, enabling remote work opportunities, and above all, fostering, innovation through technical-driven entrepreneurship. It also facilitates networking and access to global markets, trade, and allowing young people, African youth, to compete and, collaborate on an international scale. It allows them to open up opportunities, easy networks in terms of trade and entrepreneurship, which is one of the key, takeaways that we have come out from the summit to say we really need to upscale in terms of technology-driven trade, entrepreneurship, and business development.
All right. Speaking of some of those key takeaways, it seems the aim is to basically create actual jobs for the youth in Africa. What are some of the measures put in place from some of the discussions that you've had during the summit?
YouthConnekt Africa in terms of the structure and how the coordination of country chapters is supposed to operate. It allows for measures that can be put in place, that should be put in place actually by tracking metrics such as, number of the rate actually at which youth employment through the creation of youth enterprises in the countries at country level, and the level of which youth participation in these processes can be captured at country level, and then it's filtered through the YouthConnekt, secretariat. So the most important aspect basically is that we need to keep stock in terms of the rate at which we are going in terms of the creation of youth-led and owned enterprises. By doing that, we will be able to do regular monitoring and evaluation to just provide feedback and mechanisms that are essential to assess the impact and effectiveness of these initiatives through our country chapters. In this case, we also have to collaborate at regional level so that we feed into the SADC protocol, in our case, on youth development.
All right. What are some of the initiatives put in place by the ministry in order to create jobs for the youth in Namibia? And also perhaps what do you plan on bringing back to Namibia from the summit just to keep the momentum alive?
Thank you very much. We are excited about this development because it comes at a point where we are currently, in the process of developing our National Development Plan 6. And as you may know, the focus of the NDP, currently of the NDP Youth Development Pillar, is to try and promote sustainable entrepreneurship development for the youth. We believe that that is going to be an enabler for job creation, as we all understand that we have a serious problem of youth unemployment. And by promoting and putting, investing resources in promoting sustainable entrepreneurship development through supporting young people that want to start up and expand their businesses, we believe we will be making a contribution in the entire, efforts of creating employment for young people. Now, we are excited because we have not drifted away from what other African countries are doing. As the summit have reached consensus to say, if we continue to training entrepreneurship development and a focus on digital skilling and technical vocational education and training, we should be making a positive impact in terms of supporting our young people to create jobs.
All right. As much as it's about us making opportunities or bringing up some of these initiatives to create the job for the youth, how can the youth also be involved and perhaps just open some of these doors for themselves by creating some of these opportunities?
Thank you very much. Young people can be involved by participating in policy discussions. That's very important. As you know, we have our national youth policy, which is an integrated youth development policy, and we recognize and appreciate the contribution that young people bring in terms of leading initiatives. There is an understanding that we can do this. We cannot do a lot young people themselves are not involved. They should be involved in community initiatives, in engaging in these entrepreneurship activities that we are saying. We must allow them space to actually come up with their own ideas, and then our job is actually to mentor them, support them, and provide resources so that they can realize their dreams.
All right. Mr. Tembwe, thank you so much for making time to talk to us this morning.
Thank you, NBC.
All right. Nicolars Tembwe, who is the Director of Youth Development in the Ministry of Sports, Youth and National Services, joining us this morning, talking to us about the recently concluded YouthConnekt Africa Summit that took place in Rwanda. Well, more conversations coming your way. Don't go anywhere.